Okay, we're now going to be starting on the skirt, and for my dress I bought this little 3-hoop skirt, 3-bone hoop skirt, which I got off eBay, and this is going to be my white underskirt. Just showing you general pieces here. This middle one, that's the front where it goes down to a V at the front of the dress, and then we have 2 side panels, one over here and the next one over here. At the back I'm going to be having a zip which will run from the top of the dress bodice to down the back, so I can get in and out of it. And we've made it just slightly bigger so that we can just do a few little gathers in it, so there'll be a couple of ripples in the fabric but not too many. Okay, the next part is to go ahead and put your skirt together. If you want to refer to my other videos, my Rapunzel tutorial, we've done more or less the same thing if you look at the skirt tutorial for that, so I'll give you some further instructions there just to save me going over it again. So if you wish to refer to that video, just generally put your right sides of your skirt to your right side. See, this is the matte side, so this is the inside, and the shiny side, which will be my outside when I turn it out the right way. Then pin, and I've tacked all the way down to the bottom of the skirt, like so on the other side. This is my centre back, and this where my hand is now is where the zip is going to come down to, so I've left that open and I've tacked from about there right down to the bottom of the skirt again. So that's as far as I've got for now, and now I'm going to go onto the machine and sew down all these edges where I've put my tacking. Okay, I'm now going to start making the pink outer skirt that has these split down the middle. This is how we're going to try and go about it. We've laid the half skirt onto my pink taffeta fabric, and that's the centre seam up the middle there. And because this white skirt's already been sewn together and obviously we've lost a bit of the seam allowance, I've put some pins and extended the edges by 2 inches all the way to the top, and the same down the other side. So I've allowed for 2 inches extra on either side.
Right, well, I'm now going to try and show you how we're going to put the skirt onto the bodice. It looks a little bit complicated, and I hope you're able to pick up what I'm trying to explain. But I've got the bodice line down here, and you have to put the top skirt on first. So what I've done, you work from inside out, attaching the outer skirt first, starting from the middle, leave a gap, an overlap for pulling it backwards. That's the centre of your bodice there, and then I've put pleats around, attaching it to the bottom of the bodice all the way around to the back opening. There's no zip in there yet, so that will be the last thing to do. And then working from the middle again, going this way, putting the pleats in, go all the way to the back centre opening, and now we're ready to put the skirt on. Okay, now we're going to do the skirt. This is the back centre opening where the zip will go. I've not sewn that up. I've just left a gap there for the zip to go in, and then sectioning it off a bit at a time makes it easier to gather. So you put a running stitch through the material, and then you will gather up each section, one section at a time. And then what will happen is that you'll find your centre front, which is the V, and then move on to your bodice front, which is upside down and backwards, so I hope you can follow this. Right, where the centre V of the skirt is there, that is going to be attached at the centre front of the bodice, going through all the layers. And then where you've put a gathering stitch in, this has got to be gathered up in sections, so you fit it from centre front to the side in one action. That's one section, and then the next section will go from the side seam to the zip. So that's got to all be gathered up and fit into the space. Okay, this is showing the inside of the bodice from the back. We have pinned this in place onto the bodice, and then we've pinned the inner skirt in place to the bodice, pulling in all the gathers to fit between the marks I told you about earlier on. The next step now will be to put a really decent tacking stitch all the way around here, take all the pins out, and then it's ready for sewing. Right, we're now going to put the zip in, which is an invisible closed end zip, length 22 inches. I've just pinned one section in place at the moment. Ready, that will be tacked in, and then I shall tack it onto the other side, and we'll have a trial fit, see if it fits, and if that's okay, we'll sew the zip in.
Right, just to show you where we've got up to. Apologise for this tutorial because we've had to do it really quickly because I need it ready in about 2 to 3 weeks time. But we've put our zip in. It's a visible concealed zip. I'm going to put a little hook and eye there at the top as well eventually. So that's the zip sewn in, and the back of the dress has all been, back skirt's all been sewn together properly. And earlier on Mum stood me on the table and worked out where the circle swags are going to go. Well, they're not exactly like proper swags, but the general curve, that's what I'm on about. So she's just gone around and just put some pins in for sort of the line. So I had to stand still for like half an hour while she did this. That side, then the other side. And obviously we ended it just on this bottom hoop here. Now what I'm going to do afterwards is actually make a separate petticoat to go underneath, because you can see all the rings on the hoops coming through, which I didn't think about at first, but now after doing it and how thin the satin is, you can see those rings, so I will be making a little petticoat to go underneath just so it hides them. Probably use a white cotton. Eventually I'm going to get some of this nice upholstery dusky pink tassel trim that you usually use on curtains and stuff like that. And then I'm going to actually take that, sorry I've had that the wrong way round, it'll actually go onto the edge like so, if you get my meaning. I was very lucky with this because this colour on the trim actually nearly perfectly matches the colour of the fabric. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So it's going to make it look just a little bit more fancy. And then I'll be putting a row of pearls around here, and I haven't decided yet, but I might put a row of pearls down there. Obviously after it's had a good iron and press. Might put some around there as well. Okay, just a very quick show of the trim I've just sewn onto the skirt. Just basically just pinned it on and then sewed it on using the machine upstairs. Now, I chose to only go as far as there on the skirt, but thinking about it now, I wish I bought some more trim to go all around the back, but never mind. What I think I might do is put a little decoration there or something. I haven't thought on it yet, but here we go, and I'll just round the back quickly. And I've just turned at the bottom all the way around the back here. And I've already made a start here just to show you what I'm doing. I'm using those same pearls that I did on my sleeve, and I've put them all onto some beading thread. Took me about an hour to thread it up using a needle. And now I'm just anchoring that on. To begin with, I did lots and lots of over stitches and sewed first few pearls down. I went through the pearls, which was a bit difficult, and so they're anchored on. Now I'm just doing like a catching stitch using needle and thread just to hold it on as I go all the way around. This is about as far as I've got at the moment. So I'll just spend the next hour or so just sewing that on around the top, and then I'm going to do exactly the same around the waist here where the seam line is. I'm going to put some pearls around there, which I thought to make it look quite nice. There we go, that's where I am at the moment. And over here you can probably see my Ariel wig. I'm in the process at the moment just having to play with it. It's more of a coppery red, dark coppery red wig, but I thought it'd be so much nicer and more natural than having bright shocking red. And I do like things to look a bit more natural. There we go, so I'll be going over that later when I figured out what's how I'm going to style this a bit better. There we go. Okay, can I see I finished sewing on all my pearls? Around the waist there, and to the back. front of the dress there, and right onto the back, so that's that done. And the next thing I'm going to do is the long sleeves on her arm. Now, because of the style sleeve I chose for this, and as I say, trying to replicate the Disneyland one, which was extremely hard work, and if anybody knows how those sleeves are made, please email me. So I'd really like to know. It's not the easiest thing to construct these type of sleeves, but we did our best. And as I say, we've got to do the back to the story. We've got to do her sleeves, which I'm going to make separately to go right up inside the arm. Here I've constructed my sleeve pattern. It's my template, and then this will be on the fold, like so, and this will become your glove or sleeve, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to elasticate the top, so when it's on the arm right inside it will stay up a bit better. There we go.
Right, we're now going to do the sleeve, which is more like a glove really, but it's going to go all the way up underneath the sleeve, out of the way, and it's going to be elasticated at the top. So to get the right measurements, what I've done is you measure around the top part of the arm and add on 2 or 3 centimetres for a turnover. Then you measure at the elbow and add some room, and then you measure at the wrist and add enough for a turnover, and then you bring that down to a point. Then from that point to the top of your arm, measure that and allow another couple of centimetres. And then what you will do to neaten it off, you'll turn over the points, and that will be sewn down, and then you'll turn the next point and sew that down to neaten it off. And then we're going to make the casing for the elastic. If your material doesn't fray, like this material doesn't fray, it's only really necessary to turn it over once, and then you make a casing so your elastic can go into there. But if your material is the fraying sort, you'll need to neaten it once and then turn it over to make your casing so that it doesn't fray. Then once you've made that, you've turned it over at the bottom and you've turned it over at the top, the whole thing then can be sewn down the side. Don't sew all the way up to the top, because your casing opening will be there and you want to be able to get your elastic through. So just below where you turn it for your casing, you're going to sew all the way down to the bottom, and that's your sleeve.
Okay, just showing you very quickly my finished sleeve. That's the top with the elastic in, so it stretches easy, goes at the arm. That's the front, and then that's the back. And eventually it will go on the arm first before putting on the dress. So it look something like that. I'm sure you get the idea. The next thing I'm going to quickly do is just make a petticoat to go underneath, because afterwards I realised that you can see some of the rings through the satin just in places, so I've decided to do a petticoat just to try and hide those rings a bit better, because it doesn't doesn't really look too good, I don't think, so I need to hide those rings on the hoop. So that'll be the next thing to do, and then I'm going to style my wig, and then hopefully it'll be finished by next week in time for Birmingham memorabilia. Fingers crossed. Thank you.